Hello and welcome to week 6 of FRF's legislative updates. My name is James Miller, Communications Director for FRF. With me as always is Samantha Paget, General Counsel. Well, Samantha, we've reached the halfway point of the session. Things are about to pick up, but before we look into week 6, let's rewind to week 5. One of the big things was a vaccine bill passed another committee. Can you talk about where we are and what's going to be expected coming up?
We are really pleased with the vaccine bill that has received such great support through the process. So we continue to expect that it will just keep on going. It's very successful, a lot of support, and we're really happy that it's going so well for this bill.
Great. And convenience store security, that bill seems to be moving along as well. Can you talk about that one?
We are really excited that the convenience store security bill is moving. It has moved through 2 committees on each side without questions, passed unanimously. We have one more committee to go on each, both the Senate and the House side, and then we expect it to go to the floor. Just a reminder, what this bill does is increase the security requirements at convenience store businesses, make sure that those requirements apply to all convenience stores equally, and it also ensures that there is adequate training for employees that man convenience stores, and also make sure that there are liability protections for the store owners that engage in that training. So we think this will just make our convenience stores an even better place for the consumers to visit.
And finally, Samantha, our last bill that we're going to review from this past week is juvenile justice. You testified last week on that one. Can you talk more about it?
I testified in Senate Rules. It was the last stop in the Senate for this bill for Senator Garcia and Senator Gibson's bill 378. And again, we expressed concern about there being an unlimited number of misdemeanors for which you could receive the civil citation. So again, we asked for that limitation for a cap of 3, and we feel that that is a reasonable limitation. While there was no change in the committee, our input was well received. We want to thank Senator Richter for his feedback that he gave to the Senate sponsor, encouraging Senator Gibson to consider that limitation. We are hopeful that Senator Garcia and Senator Gibson will be amenable to that change before it gets to the floor. There is the opportunity to make the change in the one last stop in the House, and we have gotten a lot of support on the House side to cap that civil citation limitation at 3. So we're hopeful that that will go on to the bill. This bill is getting a lot of support, bipartisan support from the House and the Senate side for juveniles in the state of Florida.
All right, well, let's talk about week 6. We're right in the middle of it now. School start date. What's the latest with that?
Okay, why this is important to members, we're talking about when school starts for Florida students, and this is why it's important to our members on 2 fronts. One, you have your tourism industry that's really interested in increasing the amount of time that Florida families have to enjoy their summer and enjoy their family vacations. But an even bigger factor is businesses in the state of Florida that are reliant upon the tourism industry. And so if you cut that additional weekend off that we're looking for, then you cut down the viable part of their season. We're looking at a start date of August 10th. From the feedback we're getting from some of our members, they would prefer a later start date, but August 10th is where it's sitting now, and so we will continue to watch this issue, gather feedback from our members, and continue to be heavily engaged on this issue.
Great. And the budget seems to be a lot of confusion. Obviously, the federal money is causing an issue, but talk about that and our tax packages being involved in that.
Well, we're still, as you highlighted, healthcare and the federal monies at issue are really holding up the discussions of the budget. Trying to see where the Medicaid issue and the healthcare issue will play. There is a difference in the monies that are in the Senate package and the House package, and so they're not matching up right now. It's going to make for some really interesting conversations and really interesting negotiations and conference. We are, of course, really interested in our back-to-school sales tax holidays, the sales tax on commercial leases, 4th of July sales tax holiday, and also the small business sales tax holiday. There's a couple other issues that we're still looking for. We're still advocating for money for enterprise zones. There's less and less support for that every day, as much as we advocate for that. And we're also looking for an Energy Star sales tax holiday. We haven't given up on that one yet. So we are still advocating for these important budget and tax issues, and it's going to be a really exciting negotiation between the House and the Senate.
And another issue, plastic bags have reared their heads once again. Can you talk about where we are with that and how that came about?
Yes, it's really funny. It never ceases to surprise me what can come up in a session. For those of you who participated in our Hot Topics call last week, I told you that the plastic bag bill was dead and that it would not be moving. Well, it just goes to show you can never take anything for granted in this process. The plastic bags bill, Senate Bill 966 by Senator Dwight Bullard, is getting a hearing this week in the Senate. So we're not we don't support this bill. It would allow for pilot projects that will allow local governments to ban certain types of bags in their local government. We don't think this is a really efficient way to address this issue. We really look for statewide policy on environmental issues. And overall, we just really don't think that that is the correct way to address this issue. But we look forward to an opportunity to educate the committee on plastic bags, on how they are 100% recyclable and how they are a good, solid, viable solution in the retail setting. And also talking about our good member Novalex that produces these bags here in the state of Florida and the provision of manufacturing jobs here in Florida. So while it's not an issue we want to see progress, we are always excited for the opportunity to advocate and educate our legislative members.
Yes, we are. And lastly, growlers moving in the legislature. Can you talk about where we are with that and what's coming up?
I think that the 64-ounce growler finally may come to life and find its home in the state of Florida. An issue that, as we've been talking about for the past 3 or 4 years, I think finally may come to rest, and it is finally getting some support, and I think we'll be able to put that issue to bed. You will see passage, I believe, it's my opinion, of the 64-ounce growler issue. Still a lot of alcohol issues sitting out there that are floating around, and we will keep you posted on how those are developing.
Great. Well, I want to thank you, Samantha, for joining us as always. We want to thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to reach out to FRF staff at any time. You can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter and at frf.org. Once again, thank you for watching.
Happy retailing!